First, an overview of what we did. During the past quarter, we talked to over 1,200 CEOs from across the world in about 69 countries. Great coverage, different perspectives. Feel really good about the results that we have here from a very diverse population, if you will. What's the overall message? It's really all about confidence, and confidence returning versus where we were a year ago. When you look at the results, the CEO confidence levels, their optimism is really back to pre-crisis levels. That confidence is really shared by many, but not all. And there are variations across the world, and obviously that presents a much more complex picture that we need to understand. But across the board, the bottom line, CEOs are feeling much better about the next 12 months, and I'd underscore the next 12 months than a year ago. Overall, the business environment is much improved. CEOs, bottom line, are feeling better, thinking less about survival, as we all know a year ago, and really how they're going to grow and thrive in this new environment. But there are some big variations. Obviously, the developing regions, the Middle East, Asia, for example, are the most confident, and that's what you'd expect. But Western Europe, the least, and again, I'd say that's what you'd expect as well. So what's going on in Europe? As expected, with the situations in Ireland, Greece, very much a mixed story. A lot of fragmentation in terms of how the CEOs in Europe are thinking about the next 12 months or so. But even within these markets, I think it's interesting, there are some surprises. The confidence level of the CEOs in Germany increased from just 20% last year to over 80% for the next 12 months, which I think is a fundamental shift from what we've seen in the past. So why this high level of confidence? I think there's two clear reasons coming through the survey results. First, there is more clarity around where the economic recovery really stands today. Second, the prospects in the emerging markets are viewed by many as real opportunities. Many companies expect to grow, but not just because of their home markets. In fact, in Western Europe, over 90% of the CEOs are at least somewhat confident that their companies will grow, but only a minority of them expect that growth will be from Western Europe. Unsurprisingly, CEOs see China as by far the top country for growth, followed in second place by the US, followed by Brazil, and slightly behind India. We're seeing a renewed commitment around the whole area of innovation this year. In fact, when you look at the survey results, the whole area of new product and service development is the #1 area for revenue growth over the next 12 months. That's the highest level it's been in over 5 years. A key theme that we're seeing from the innovation agenda is innovate locally. CEOs are looking at acquisitions close to home, or if not, in Asia. Interestingly, 51% of the CEOs actually plan to add jobs this year. That's up from 39% a year ago, so a significant increase in terms of adding talent to their workforce. 16% actually plan to cut jobs in the next 12 months. And the good news is that's down from about 25% a year ago. Well, companies in India, China, Brazil lead in adding jobs. Job prospects actually look much better in the US and in Germany in particular. Obviously, still tough in parts of Europe, for example, Italy and Spain, as well as the Netherlands. The bottom line on jobs, it's looking better. CEOs are looking for skilled workers. CEOs are actually worried about the economic volatility. 72% actually cited this as the #1 concern. Businesses today are less local. They're now looking at increased volatility through a more complex global lens. But there's also another new concern, actually, for the first time in our survey, and that's the level of public deficits that are actually out there. 61% of the CEOs cite this as the #2 concern in terms of what they're focused on for the next 12 months. The bottom line, this uncertainty creates a dark cloud around the sustainability of the recovery that we're really talking about. Now, as we all know, regulation has historically been one of the top issues that CEOs were concerned about. But even last week, President Obama is calling for streamlining of regulation. To sum up, I would say there are always threats. We talk about them every year. But when you look at these concerns, what's different in my mind is it's less about survival. This year, it's about increased confidence and seizing opportunities that are really out there. As a result, CEOs are #1, changing strategy. In fact, A third of them have said in a major way, a fundamental way. Second, they're focusing on talent. Concerns about the shortage of talent are a key worry that many of them are trying to think about creative and innovative solutions to deal with. CEOs are looking to government to sort out the infrastructure issue. And lastly, innovation. Clearly, a renewed focus to deliver growth. And finally, I'd say when looking at the confidence levels and changing areas of concern, we see that CEOs are no longer in the survival mode. Despite the continued worries around economic volatility, they're quite confident that they can seize the opportunities to grow their companies, and not sometime in the future, not 2 to 3 years out down the road, but over the next 12 months. This is a fundamental shift than what we were talking about a year ago.